it's Rachel from All About Planners. In this video I'm doing a review of the Kind Friend Planner. So I did receive a copy of this planner for free in exchange for this review, but as always I'm going to say what I think regardless of whether I paid for the planner or not. So this planner is a little different to a conventional planner. It only has 13 weekly spreads, so it won't last an entire year. So it has weekly spreads and then also dot grid, which you'll see when I open the planner up. But first let's do the page size. So it is around about A5 page size, like half US letter. It's about 5.75 by about 8.5 inches high, and it is the classic sewn bound look. As you can see, love this gold on the edges all the way around, really pretty. Nothing printed on the spine, so if you put this on a shelf, it'll probably just look like any other notebook. Let's have a look on the inside. So this planner is from Singapore, keep that in mind with relation to like shipping. Depending on where you are in the world, it could be a little exy. So they have a lot of quotes throughout the planner, but first things first, they give you an example of how they recommend you use it. So this is the weekly spread layout. So it starts with weekly goals, love the top 3, weekly tasks, nice checklist section, and then this giant daily mood tracker, which, I mean, if you're going to include a mood tracker, then okay, but I don't think it needs to be that big. I think that does take up a lot of space on the spread. Love the habit tracker, and then they have this reflection section. So what I loved about this week, didn't like, and grateful for. So I do like that this layout doesn't have the traditional, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. days of the week, because I tend to just write down a whole bunch of tasks and work on them whenever rather than assigning things to a certain day. So if you like to plan like that too, that could be a good option. So I think if they had expanded out the weekly task section and reduced the mood tracker, it would be a bit better, and maybe even shrink down these reflection sections. But I do like that it is a different layout to normal, especially if you don't really do appointments or anything like that. You just want to do tasks. And then the reflection questions. The paper is really nice, bright white, which I really like. And then the other thing I should point out, with the little task tracker, they do have a little recommended code, which is the same as what I actually use anyway. So like, haven't started, they call it incomplete. In progress, you do one line, or you could color half the circle, and then when it's completed, you get to cross it off. So all of the weeks are clustered together at the front, which I really like. I feel like that's a much more logical setup than when planners disperse, you know, the weeks in the month, etc. So all of the weeks are clustered together at the front. There's no monthly spread. After all of the weeks, it goes into dot grid pages. So if you like to do daily planning, or if you do need some more task space on the weekly, then you can do it on these dot grid pages here. And there are also other little quote pages. So if you wanted to divide this up and use this for like school subjects, or a different section for different checklists of your life, like life list, blog list, personal list, etc., then you can do that. And look at how nice bright paper. Love white dot grid paper. The dot grid spacing, grab my ruler, is about the usual 5mm. I will just double confirm that because it's kind of awkward at the angle that I'm holding this. Actually, it might be more like 6mm. I'll double check that and write that in the blog post, which will be linked below. Now, there are no page numbers on the dot grid pages. Keep that in mind. There isn't an index either, so you might want to create your own, you know, like in section 5, because there's a few of these, as you can see with the little black. Maybe you're keeping your grocery list, etc. Anyway, I do like that it's open-ended and you can use it however you want. At the very back of the notebook, finishes off with those dot grids, and then we go into the back cover, which does not have a pocket folder or anything, and then it does have an elastic band to keep everything enclosed. So I do like that it is not a traditional planner layout. If they reduced the mood tracker size on the weekly spread and made it a bit more checklist space, I would really love it. Good alternative to a traditional planner if you're finding that that's not working for you. Keep in mind the price, however. I'm not going to bother converting it because it's Singapore dollars, so it'll depend wherever you live in the world. But keep in mind you'll probably need a few of these to last an entire year, because there's only 13 weekly spreads. The paper, I should point out, is only 100 GSM, which is not terribly thick, so pens may bleed through the paper. I am seeing a bit of a shadow of the design as well on the back page here. Apart from that, good alternative to a traditional planner, especially if you want to do a mix of more detailed weekly planning, or maybe you want to do some daily planning occasionally with the dot grids or list pages, etc. So I have all of the details with the dimensions and everything linked in the description box below to the blog post, which will be down there. Don't forget to subscribe. I usually do a couple of review videos each week.